just beautiful and elegant and so much grace.
It's nothing like NDT. NDT too. You know, there's nothing like, or NDT.
But that's the thing is, like, as a second company, you wouldn't say that this is like the second company.
No!
This is a full-fledged professional dance company,
exactly.
just like any other professional dance company. They put on, an amazing show. They're so mature, so much understanding of the work that they do. So it's really fabulous.
I mean, it's a very special place. Juilliard is really, really an institution that shapes artists in another way. But I did the summer program there, which is where I met Spencer for the first time. So we've known each other for many years now.
Juilliard was really great. It was 4 years of exploration, both internal and external. It was... I don't know, I felt like I really became myself in those 4 years. Of course, we're always changing and moving on to something else, but I really think that my experience at Juilliard is kind of what informs a lot of my decisions or a lot of the way I feel today.
Yeah, I actually studied at Juilliard for a year, and then I left Juilliard, which is such a really strange story because going to Juilliard was one of my dreams. I always wanted to go to Juilliard, and for, I think, 7 years, my birthday wish at every candle was to go to Juilliard.
I left Florida when I was 18 and traveled to New York to study at Juilliard. It was a culture shock from the get-go because Florida is completely different from New York City. And it was really interesting, sort of diving into something very extreme and intense.
No, I would definitely say that Juilliard shapes the way that you develop as an artist, and the tools that you're given you can use for many years to come. And you can see sometimes you recognize different traits that a Juilliard dancer has, or you can see how they approach work, task work in the studio or choreography. And there's also an approach to technique in general that's like listening to your body, that often in some places they might tell you to be more strict balletically or technically, but there's a different understanding that you can develop and you take with you for many years to come.
I'm Irene Dowd, and I teach the anatomy for dancers here at Juilliard.
If you guys knew how much I thought about you.
I teach anatomy for a couple of reasons. One is the more we understand about the inside of our body and what it is and its extraordinary potential, the more we can fulfill ourselves as dancers and perhaps even save ourselves from some injuries or some challenges. And the other is, as a choreographer, I know that we often have a hard time stepping out of what we already know. But if we consider all of the potential of the human anatomy, it's much, much bigger than any one dance form. So then we go into a company, like these wonderful, wonderful young people who have joined NDT too. We're able to quickly pick up what the choreographer wants, even if it's something new.
You take all of the classes. You take ballet, you take modern, we take different types of modern. We've gone from Lamone to Graham to Paul Taylor to Cunningham to Horton and to Gaga. So there's a wide variety there, especially with the ballet teachers there too. There's a lot of different ballet vocabularies that are taught, and it's not necessarily neutralized, but each teacher has something special to share.
Alex is more an internal processor. And I think of him sometimes as being kind of like one of those jewels, faceted jewels. There are very few facets on the outside, and the inside has many, many facets. So you look at him and you're drawn in to that beauty of his inner ability. He has a kind of a perfect physique and technique so that he could kind of do anything. But it draws you in. It's very peaceful. It's very calm. It's very inward. It's very... So I think of Kasia as being kind of a mistress of curves. Her hypermobility and her intelligence allow her to explore an extreme spectrum of movement. And her thoughtfulness and curiosity allows her to make that movement very, very alive, very present, unique to her, while still completely fulfilling what the choreographer asked, and perhaps even more. Kasia and Spencer were in the same class. He, again, absolutely brilliant, and he has a way of integrating everything he learns in a very clear, structured, and very rich way, so that he's always able to entertain, and then another complexity, another possibility, another way of looking at this or exploring this or adding to this. So he can bring a kind of a highly structured richness to everything he does. So they're all fantastic, and how my course has exactly served them, you probably would find out better from them than from me. I only know what I see from the outside, but the pleasure of teaching them and watching them perform is the great joy of doing what I do.
My name is Francisco Martinez, and I'm ballet faculty here at Juilliard at the moment, and I come from Spain. I'm one of the teachers of Greg, Alex, Spencer, Kasia. They are very gifted and talented, but most of all I would say they are very good people. NDT is one of the leading companies in the world, so it's a great honor to have students that join the company, and they are able to get that level of excellence.
It doesn't feel like that long ago at all.
I mean, it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
It wasn't so long ago.
It was like a year and a half. Wow. That's really not that long ago.
And seeing like Gendry, who was late, like running from the train as we're about to start bar.
Isn't like that sprung there?
There's something about the energy when you're in this space and then it opens up and like pours over New York City. You kind of just like
spill out with
you're like dancing and it's just like it goes. You don't feel like you can have like a
I hated it at first.
I would say a more contemporary genre. You still can create classical dances out of the Juilliard, but there tends to be a much more leaning towards the contemporary world. And that for us is an amazing set-off point. And you'll find in general that we've always taken, in the last 10 years, you'll see Juilliard students coming and growing because the school is giving them all this foundation. They come and audition and they're 20, 21 and they're not students. They're really, really young professionals. And that has its pros and its cons because they also recognise themselves, we're quite well formed, whereas NDT2 is really about transformation. So in a way it's challenging for them at the same time to be in that position, but they have been given so many tools. They study improvisation, they really get to grips with creativity and the concept of it and how you're going to work with that, as well as good classes in many fields of dance and theatre, and they're evaluated very many times throughout the year. There is a lot of attention given to them, so they come out very well groomed in that sense, and sometimes I think almost a little bit too well groomed, and it would be nice to have a bit more diamond in the rough.
This is how it all started. This is Gregory here with Kristen dancing at Midpack. They went to a School of the Arts in Honolulu. There's not a lot of School of the Arts in Honolulu at all.
You grow up on a small island and you really don't see people move to follow their dreams like this. So we didn't really have anyone to set that precedence for us. But since we have come here, so many of the students from our high school have moved to New York to go to college for dance and are now pursuing professional careers. So it's really nice to have such a great, what we would call ohana in Hawaiian. It means family, but a great family and a great network of people that we grew up with who are now
doing the same thing.
Which is crazy. I'm an American. I haven't seen a lot of places in America. Like, I've seen Hawaii and San Francisco and Florida and New York, and that's basically it.
It's pretty amazing thinking that after 3 years here, I'm returning back to New York, performing at the Joyce, which I've never had the opportunity to do, even through all my life there. But it's going to be something really special.
Yeah, it's bizarre, actually. I have this memory from going to an NDT2 show also at the Joyce. It was probably my freshman year at school, so 7, 8 years ago. So right now I'm thrilled. Yeah, I can't wait to be there.
But it's a rush for me because I'm going back so soon. It's like, it's crazy. Like, I've had this time here, and then all of a sudden, like, we're going back, and we're sharing what we've learned and what we've done. And so I'm so overly excited to go back.
You know, to be in New York and to be, 20 years old and presenting some of the works that they do of really established choreographers and on such a high level, that's a big deal, actually. And it's a moment a lot of them will carry, and they'll always say, oh, you remember we went to New York for the first time? And, you know, I had one dancer who'd never been in America before, let alone, you know, performing with NDT2. So. It's like a kind of a stamp in your passport that is going to really, if you've got this far and you've got through that your big audition and you've arrived at NDT2 with a contract and you're going to spend 3 years there, you're going to come out with a lot of potential for a strong future if that's what you want to do with your life. Well, you've seen someone over 3 years. In a way, that's hard for them because you've had a 3-year audition. So you do get lots of chances to discover people's weaknesses and strengths. And so it works both ways. You'll find people who just do an audition for a few days and come in, you'll take them because you're like, wow, they're so talented and that. But if you really have to live with them for 3 years, it's normal. It's completely normal. You're going to find out the things that you think, wow, well, I didn't know. I didn't expect that from you. Or, you know, there's things. So it isn't easy for the NDT tours. At the same time, you're getting a great foundation. You're going on the DNA course of NDT, and let's see what comes out. But there is no set DNA. There is no ground rule that says you're right and you're not. It also has to be taken very much at this stage. I'm responsible for the artistic direction of this company, and I talk very much with the teams within NDT2 and also the artistic team of NDT1 and gather everybody's opinion about each dancer and what we feel, and then I'll try and put that in the pot and see what kind of flavour comes out. Is this the right person or not? And sometimes it's extremely hard because I've worked with people who I care very much about. Over 3 years you form a relationship in that sense, and as talented as they are, you still come forward with a message of, I don't think it's going to work, because you have to think longer term future. This is a relationship, and also sometimes I've had to let some people go because I just didn't have the contract space.
I'm definitely thinking about what's coming next, and right now there are still lots of questions left unanswered, but I'm excited for the future. It's scary, the things that you don't know, but there's something really wonderful about how sublime it can be as well.
And of course, that's always like in the back of my head as far as, you know, after 3 years, because it's not always certain that you join NDT1. So when it gets closer to that, I'll start to think more about it. But since I just started, yeah, it's still fresh for me. So I'm still absorbing everything that's coming my way, in a sense.
I don't have a 5-year plan, or I don't have necessarily plans to go back to New York or anything like that. But I'm happy with the ride I'm on.
yeah, it's a strange thing. And so now I really have to ask myself a lot of questions about what I want to do. But because I used to plan everything out, I'm kind of just trying to enjoy every moment. Because before, I'm a really fast-paced person that like really likes to jump to different things and experience as much as possible. And I kind of have to do the opposite now, I think, and really enjoy every second of this, and then see what happens after that, but not to plan too much.
Good.